Well, hello. It has been quite a while, but hello, everyone. I had to jump on real quick just to give you all a quick inspiration, a quick encouragement. If my eye is leaking, that's probably because God is really moving and speaking during this season. He's kind of kept me quiet and kept me to himself for a little while. And because of it, he's really dealing with me in some areas and some issues, just about life in general, but most importantly, about how to encourage the people of God and what kind of encouragement we need at this day and time. With everything going on, it's just a very trying time in the world, in the United States, and in our communities. So this is what he gave me. I'm gonna give, you know how I am. I'm gonna go for it. There really ain't much of a story behind it. He has me in a disciplinary place where I've been reading and worshiping and, you know, keeping myself in a real great worship mode. But this is what he said. So I was asking him about 2021, and for whatever reason, he told me he said, this is not about years. This is about a season. This COVID-19 is about a season of life or unfortunately the deaths, but it's not a year. It is a season that we're in. And it's a world season from what it looks like. And so what he gave me for this next season is not about a year. So I don't want you to get it confused that 2021, this is about to happen. No, this is about the next season that some of us are going into. Here we go. So I was reading the book of Genesis, and y'all know I get super excited because this is good. This is really good. So I was reading the book of Genesis, and in Genesis chapter 7, it starts bringing out about Noah. And how we know that it took Noah 120 years to build that ark. You know, Noah didn't die until he was like 600 something years old. But it took Noah an act of obedience of 120 years to build that ark. I was like, whoa. And then after he built the ark, you know how he brought all the animals in the ark, you know, the Lord closed the ark, and, you know, we go through all that, and it rained for 40 years. And 40 days, my fault. And I was like, yes, Lord, I know. We know it rained for 40 days, and, you know, then you stopped the rain. But he had me keep going. And he said, but the floods remained for 150 days after the rain. So I'm like, wow. I didn't realize that even after the act of obedience of 120 years and after the rain came that God has promised, there was still a moment of floods where they still were not able to be released. That was with that 150 days, that they still were not able to be released into what God had promised them, you know, to be okay and to go into dry ground. So I'm like, well, go on to dry ground. I'm like, well, dang, that was a long time. But then on Genesis 8:1, it says, but God remembered Noah. And when I tell you, it's like it jumped off the page into my heart. I'm not going to cry, but there is something amazing about that one clause. But God remembered Noah. After everything, the 120 years of building in the act of obedience, after gathering all the animals, after God closed the ark, after going through the flood of 40 days, going through the waters, the rain in 40 days, and then the flood of 150 days, and really not hearing anything after that ark was closed. But after 150 days, God remembered Noah. And that's what God told me to tell you today. But God remembered you. He knows that you've been through a lot. You may have lost a lot. Your act of obedience, he has not forgotten. The things that ups and downs, spins and curls, whatever it is, God has not forgotten you. Better yet, God has remembered you. So say your name with me. God has remembered Nicole. God has remembered you and you and you and you. Please understand this when I say it. I know it has been tough. I know this season has not been easy. Trust me when I tell you, I can relate in more ways than you think. But God has remembered us So now, here was my big question, because he said, yes, I remembers you. I remember you. But then he told me to ask you this. Did you remember God? In this season, don't count God out. Don't forget God. Don't go through everything that you're going through. Go back to your knees. Go back to your Creator. Go back to your King of Kings. Go back to your Lord of Lords. Go back to your Father that is in heaven, that gives good pleasure to give the kingdom to his children. Go back to him and he will remember you. So that is my encouragement for you today. But God remembered Noah. Just as such, because God is no respecter of person, you can put your name in there too. But God remembered you.